Alright, hi, I'm Austin, and this is Anna and Nick. Yeah, go sit. Here's my note card. Alright, so when I was little, I can remember walking into my brother's room and seeing him playing with a two-handed controller and interacting with the TV. And seeing it, I was like, whoa, what's this? And it turns out they were controlling a pair of monkeys, collecting bananas, and jumping on the heads of enemies and traveling a large world. And it was so neat, and it turned out it was Donkey Kong Country on a system called the Super Nintendo, which I have right here. And the thing is, with gamers today, you can see them anywhere. You have gamers in grade school, college, even in your workforce. You're going to know a gamer even if you don't play games yourself. So that's why they're pretty important to everyone that we know. And I know I've been playing games for as long as I can possibly remember. And the Super Nintendo was a gaming system that revolutionized the gaming industry. And I'm going to explain just how and why that is. For when the Nintendo came out, according to Hart in 1997, initially, Nintendo's management were not the only ones confident that the SNES would bring control of the industry back to Nintendo. Many video game magazines chimed in, touting on the supremacy of the SNES. Now, I say bring control of the industry back to Nintendo because of the fact that the Genesis was out first, and I'll get into the competition of the system later. Now, in any Nintendo game that you play, you're going to see something on it called the Seal of Quality. And what this quality seal is, according to Arnone 2010, the purpose of the Seal of Quality was to assure potential buyers of games compatible with the NES that they were not in for a repeat of the inferior games that led to the 1983 crash. This crash was a cause of many companies getting involved in the gaming industry because it was getting popular and just creating shovelware, games that weren't worth anything or just terrible. There was actually a news article out recently about E.T. games based off the movie, and there was just a landfill in New Mexico filled with them because no one purchased them from the stores and they just had to throw them all out. Now, a system is nothing without the games that are made for it, and I'd like to start with a game I hold near and dear to me, which is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. And on it you can actually see that is the Seal of Quality in the bottom left-hand corner. The original Legend of Zelda for NES set the basic structure the series would continue to follow for the next quarter century. A Link to the Past made that series a legend, according to George. And it's true because if you play any future Zelda game, you're going to find that all the music from it came from A Link to the Past. Zelda's Lullaby and Kakariko Village, anything like that. The characters, the layout, a lot of it came from Link to the Past. And other games, you had Super Mario World was the pack-in game for the system, so naturally it was one of the best-selling ones. And then they made a sequel for that called Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. And I mentioned Donkey Kong earlier, and they made a couple sequels also on Super Nintendo called Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest, and Donkey Kong Country 3, Dixie's Double Trouble. There's so many games I can mention, but I'll just throw out honorable mentions: Super Metroid, Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars, Kirby Superstar. Way too many that you can get in a 5-minute presentation. But the Nintendo wasn't alone in the video game marketplace anymore. Admittedly, Sega had a bit of a head start in the 16-bit era. The Genesis entered the world 2 years before the Super NES, bringing with it an audio and visual fidelity that made the humble NES look pitiful in comparison. And that's according to Mackie 2011. Because of that 2-year start, Nintendo was like really far behind. So, in having to catch up with that, Sega already had some ad campaigns launched against it. Like some remember a commercial saying, "Sega does what Nintendo don't." And that was the beginning of the very first console war. But console wars aside, there's one fact that still remains. Super Nintendo was a gaming system that revolutionized the gaming industry. They struck gold when they came out with the Super Nintendo to follow up the NES, which was already a huge success. And Nintendo has a huge impact in the gaming market today. Thank you.